People in Pittsburgh love Pittsburgh. They love this city. They're known for their Yinzer accent.
We don't say downtown, it's downtown.
Downtown.
I say wash instead of wash. It's just the way I talk. I mean,
the website Gawker put together a poll to figure out what city in America has the worst accent, and Pittsburgh won.
One of the problems with it is the local people who speak those accents are working class people.
I don't know. I don't think we have the ugliest accent.
I mean, could you see why some feel that this poll was classist? Can you see that?
Sure, of course.
But this just isn't a story about Pittsburgh. Other Pennsylvania cities have been getting slammed, poll after poll, study after study for years.
Who did this survey? Who participated in it?
I'm happy in Scranton.
I love our area. I don't see the efficacy in all of these, these polls and rating places, especially if you're just some jerk who's using the city as a punchline.
No, listen. Me and you going downtown. Here we go. Gonna put mayonnaise, getting pierogies in that. Gonna strip district, Woolies, fish sandwiches.
It's just the way people talk around it. A lot of people call it Yinzerisms.
Really what it is we don't finish any of our words and we smush everything together. I like it. I love our accents.
The poll, to me, is an attempt by Gawker to drive some clickbait. The Pittsburgh accent, which we lovingly refer to as Pittsburghese, is sort of a piece of our cultural heritage, and I think it is offensive to say that our accent is ugly.
Saying that it's an ugly accent in some ways, you can say, well, the people of Pittsburgh are somewhat ugly. The thing is, it does perpetuate a particular way of looking at language and the way of thinking about people in a classist way, and sometimes this can also be racist. These media companies, I think they really should have some kind of responsibility about how they do this.
So the question is, where are these studies and judgments even coming from?
It started as a personal project just because I'm from Philadelphia and I come from a very heavily accented family. I wanted to use a very Gawker-y style conceit, I guess, to pay tribute to the accents that we hear the most in America.
The question that I think others have is, not how should it be portrayed, but how was it portrayed?
If people misunderstood the conceit of the contest, then that's not really in our place to argue.
So Pennsylvanians might often feel like they're in an abusive relationship with the media. This past summer, newspapers ran stories calling Pittsburgh the second most unhappy city in the US. Then 1 month later, The Economist magazine called it the most livable city, partly based on its culture. Accents, which are a large part of that culture, were then deemed ugly by Gawker Media just 2 months later. This is enough to warrant an identity crisis. But few cities have seen more negative press than my hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania.
We're the Cowboys of the Northeast.
I know more people that have surveyed for Family Feud than I have actual surveys in real life situations.
I guess we have a coal cracker accent. It's fine. I don't think it's ugly. I don't know how you make an aesthetic judgment on an accent. I think you want to judge people by what they're saying, right?
Oh, we're total area pride people. You know what I mean? We love NEPA and whatnot.
Come hang out for a weekend and see if it's an unhappy place, I don't feel that at all.
And my happiness comes from the city.
you guys miserable?
No.
No,
Very
but
happy. Yeah.
That's strange because you're right here in Scranton.
I think the constant negativity in these stories does affect some people. I think it has, maybe a deeper effect on people who might be thinking about investing in the region and moving in here, maybe bringing businesses in and jobs.
This is Tim Holmes. He is pretty much our director of fun.
How are you?
This is Matt. He's
What
with
I
the
do.
BBC, and he's doing a story on how miserable Scrantonians are.
Scranton's an easy target. There are more than enough reasons to feel hopeless as a Scrantonian. But interestingly, they're almost never the ones that are cited by the people who write these, these misery stories.
And this is not what we would teach our students to do. For example, malign an entire city based on a poll, or at least use that kind of language. Very often, the struggle that we face as researchers is we don't know what happens to our research in the hands of journalists, because we give them what we know as is the finding or the discovery in our study, and then they spin it or take it and may play with the truth.
That's another thing that's kind of interesting about Scranton and its low self-esteem, which is that you and I can say that, a Scrantonian can say that, or someone from this area can run the region down all they want, but when someone from the outside says it, then it's a problem.